What is up, Team JVS? We are back with another video. We are here with another review. This one for The Recruit Season 2. I am so excited to talk about this. We just talked about The Night Agent, and now we get the chance to talk about another show that, some people like to compare. Me personally, I enjoy both shows, but I'm just excited to dive into it. But realistically, there's a lot to unpack here. Especially coming off of again, The Night Agent, which happened to be 10 episodes, and now we're coming into this, which is only 6 episodes, which is a little different from season 1 where it was 8 episodes, but I think it's one of those things where it's kind of interesting how you can go about it, because there's certain shows where I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, why are we only getting 6 episodes? This actually makes no sense to me. But to kind of go into it and when we are actually watching the series and they're able to just pack so much without the pacing feeling terrible, and just to feel like we're getting just so much at once. I don't know how to explain it, man. It was exciting. And I'm gonna butcher names, but Noah Centineo, I think he did a phenomenal job this season. Like, I really enjoyed him in season 1, and personally, I'm kind of new to him as an actor. I remember there was a show I watched growing up where he was like a side character at one point, and then I remember seeing him in Black Adam, and then of course The Recruit, and now season 2. I'm getting more and more fond of this dude as I'm seeing more of him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he has done a really good job here. I mean, not just with some action sequences that have caught me off guard, considering that the dude's a lawyer, but the fact that he just what's the right word? Like, we're just seeing the range that he has as an actor, and I'm just kind of I'm getting a little impressed. But I will say that although this season is a little shorter than the first season, does not mean it lacks anything. And I'm really excited to hear your guys' point of view, because me personally, I feel as though I enjoyed this season more than season 1. And that doesn't mean that season 1 was bad, cuz it was really good. We got a lot of cool characters. There's one character that we got to see get wiped out in the first season, which I enjoyed Max's character. So to see what they kind of did with her character, especially at the end of season 1, caught me off guard. And then diving into season 2 and just the lack of her character, it was kind of upsetting at first, but they they handled it really well, because they introduced some other characters, and then other characters that we were familiar with, such as Lester, they've gotten more screen time. And especially being in a whole new location, it's been really interesting to see how they've kind of handled it, and again, introduced a whole new situation that we're in, like new characters. We're involved with a new government. We have new rules, and it's just, we're in a situation where it's maybe it's even worse than the situation we were in season 1. But I guess that's the whole point of this show, because of course, with Owen's character, he's quite literally only been involved with everything for maybe a month. So the fact that season 1 and season 2 are just happening kind of like back to back kind of makes it so much more dramatic, knowing that everything is happening like just back to back to back. And it's like the poor dude, like, how much can the human body take? But it's really cool with the way they kind of handle that, and they let like he's only been here for like 3 or 4 weeks, and this is everything that he's been involved with. And it's just, it really makes certain situations even more intense, because they kind of highlight certain things that, like you wouldn't expect someone who's new to an organization to have gone through this much, and again, this short period of time. So even though there's so much going on, we get to see these characters handle like such a hectic, crazy situation that isn't quite normal to them. But again, they're in the CIA, so nothing's really normal. But again, I've really appreciated what the writers have done, because you can only, I feel like we've seen this in some other shows, but to have someone who's not necessarily combat ready be thrown in a situation where they are 100% having to fight for their lives and run and do all these things, it's really, it's interesting and fascinating to me, because as much as I love shows where we have the big bad guy, the big bad dude who's able to just fight everyone and handle his own, it's cool. But it adds a certain depth to the character, knowing that they are not like skilled. This is not what they train to do, and now they're in a position where they have to adapt or they die. And I feel like they did a really good job. Again, they did that in season 1, but we're seeing a lot more of that in season 2, and we're getting a situation or different situations where Owen is having to accept that, and he's like, okay, you know what? This is what's gonna happen. I have to do it. If I don't do it, this is what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna die, and he just jumps to it and kicks ass, and it's really cool. And again, we have other characters like Lester being thrown in the mix. We have another character from the last season who was kind of more of like a, to me, like kind of like a jokester of a character. We have to see him kind of step up, and that's Janice Ferber. His of course Christian Brun, I think is the actor that plays him. If I butchered names again, I apologize. But we get to see him kind of take a more, we step up in this season, in my opinion. Like he's kind of more centered and more involved, and it's really cool to see the way that they've kind of put him in the mix. And again, we have all of these characters kind of looking a certain way at Owen, and it doesn't change in season 2. Like the amount of aggression that they kind of show towards this kid is just ridiculous, because of course he's kind of like the golden child at this point, like only been here for a month, but is being assigned all these cases, getting chances that most agents wouldn't necessarily get. And you can feel the pure, like, kind of like just disgust some of these characters have towards him, but at the same time it's really displayed in a really comedic way, which makes it really interesting. And I really like that, because of course you can only have these characters be extremely salty, like, to a certain extent, before it gets annoying. But when you have two characters kind of ganging up on him, and it makes it really comedic. Like, and I think that's one thing I really enjoyed about Violet and Lester, those two characters, because they would kind of bond over, crapping at Owen. Like, Owen would be like, hey, nice to see you, Violet, and she'd be like, die in a fire. It's dark. But the one thing I will say is that certain characters we see a little bit less of. And Violet's one of those characters. I really enjoyed her, so seeing a little less of her did, kind of, kind of stunk. Same thing I feel like with Amelia. Amelia is involved, but I feel like it's a little less. But again, that doesn't take away from the fact that the season has been great, and even though they were involved less, they still made an impact, and it was really cool to see them on screen. And again, but that's what's gonna happen when you have a 6 episode series. And again, although like that is a little disappointing, I feel as though every episode is jam packed with so much. It makes it so entertaining. Like, by the time I was done with the first episode, I was like, wow, like this is an introduction, I can't wait for more. And it just kept going. And although this isn't like gonna be like a top 3 show on Netflix, like I feel like I don't feel this with a lot of shows anymore. Like, just the instant, like, like, want for more. Like, before I was even finished with the season, I was like, I need season 3. This is just how well they're kind of telling their story, and how well and how much, they're kind of pulling us as an audience in to be like, hey, like, the story that they're telling here is cool, but like I need more stories between these two specific characters, for an example. Or we have certain characters going for a certain goal, and we're like, if they get that position, or if they get that to that goal, it'd be really cool to see them in that area. And it's like, and that's just me trying to talk without spoiling things. But again, they just do a really good job just all around, and I was really impressed with how they put together season 2, because again, sometimes, a second season might be hit or miss, but realistically, like, they stuck the landing, and I truly believe that they deserve a season 3. I think the show would be really, really interesting to see more of. And again, if they go again with the 6 episode format, I'm not going to come at them, because I think they handled this really great. I think it was great. I think it was good. So I mean, it was fantastic to see how they did it, and it left me wanting more. So here I am saying, fantastic job, Netflix. But I will say, if I appreciate you guys checking out the review. And again, if you want a season 3, make sure you guys are being vocal. I mean, hopefully they listen. And we don't want to get another show canned, even though, like, it's clearly loved by people. And again, I will say that the only, like, one of the downsides I had was the lack of characters, the lack of screen time some characters did have. But again, I understand the sacrifice, so I'm not too salty about it. And again, still upset about certain characters they took from us, but we'll live, because they did introduce some other characters. Some characters I feel as though they're setting up to be a bigger problem in the future, which I think you guys will know specifically who I'm talking about when we get there. But they're I feel like they're like sprinkling some seeds, which again is really interesting when you have this little amount of episodes. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of conflict here that I know will have to be resolved in upcoming episodes if we get those. So I'm rooting for this show. Like I am really rooting for this show. And again, I appreciate your time. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, make sure you're liking and subscribing. Check out more Team JVS content. I promise you, like, there's gonna be something that we cover over here that you do enjoy. There might be one thing that you've never heard of. Feel free to check out the review. You might be interested. Who knows? But also, if you're a fan of The Recruit, we will be covering the reactions and just me watching the show for the first time on my channel, which will be in the description. It's at BusyBron on YouTube, BizzyBron. Feel free to check that out. I can't wait to just share me watching the show for the first time with you guys, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So feel free to talk down below in the comment section as well. We want to have a decent conversation with you guys. Let us know if you enjoyed season 2 more than you enjoyed season 1. Let us know if you've watched any other shows. Again, we just checked out The Night Agent. Feel free to check out that review and talk to us about that. And we have a lot of other things coming out. We have Cobra Kai coming out in a couple weeks. We have Invincible coming out in a couple weeks. So there's going to be a lot of content. So stay tuned, be ready, and we'll see you next time. Peace out, guys.